Hello YouTube, how you doing? Where you at? Where you going? How you been? How you been? It is October 2023, y'all. Halloween is in 2 weeks. Can you believe that the year is almost over? I can't believe it. I mean, like, it's just crazy. Those of us who had kids young, our kids are almost grown. Like, if you had a kid in 2008, your kid is going to be 15 this year. Congratulations. We made it. And it's so crazy because, like, all my friends are either the same age as me or older. I have friends in their 40s. And I have one friend, she's actually younger than me. She's 29. And when I was her age, I was still taking my son to the Brooklyn Children's Museum. Shout out to them. If you live in the Brooklyn, New York area and you have a child between the ages of 0 and 12, it's awesome. They always have activities. Halloween is the best time. They have activities, they have a party. They actually do a annual traditional Thriller dance at the end of the event. Phenomenal. They have a mariachi band with the Mexicans and I forget what instrument that is, but Steve Urkel plays it. And it's just a good time. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. There's not a holiday I think the only holiday I don't like is Thanksgiving, because there's nothing to do. Like, what do people do for Thanksgiving? They get up, they go grocery shopping, and they eat. So Thanksgiving is cool because you get to mingle with people you haven't seen in a while, but there's nothing to really do. Christmas is always a Christmas show. Like my old high school, they're having what they call a cantata. I might go to that. Definitely want to take my son so he could experience this is another side of Christmas. Yes, we've been to the Rockettes. We've seen them on Radio City. What else I've done with him? Took him to see the tree. He's been with his father's family. He's been with my friends. We've done different things for Christmas as a family. I don't believe in gift exchange. It's not your birthday, so why am I giving you a gift? I don't believe in gift exchange at all. I've participated in it at work, and moving forward, I don't think I would do that, Secret Santa, because people just take the fun out of it. And me and my cousin was talking about it, and my cousin, her spirit was just damaged because of a coworker years ago. This pre-pandemic. It was like 3 gifts. Some places, I worked at a school, you were supposed to give 8 gifts. Now, the principal gave me 8 gifts. She gave me soap. She gave me the little nail polish. She gave me like a bunch of things. And it was nice. And I gave them 1 gift. And there was a teacher that came at me, and she was like, "Oh, you messing it up for everybody. You supposed to give the person 8 gifts and da-da-da-da," just going in. And I'm like, yo, like, at the end of the day, I gave the person a gift. And I'm glad I didn't give her 8 gifts, because the 1 gift that I gave to her, it sat right in her classroom. And I didn't feel no way about it because I only spent $10 on it. But it's like, why am I going to spend 8 gifts on someone and they not going to even use all the gifts? Even the principal who gave me 8 gifts, I think I used like the soap. I used like the soap a little bit, but at the time, I didn't use bar soap, right? I just used body wash. Now I came back to bar soap. I just recently started going back into bar soap because body wash is just too expensive. I don't know what's going on, but there is no reason why anybody should have to spend over $100 on soap. And I didn't realize how much money I just be wasting. Like, it's stupid. Like, I'm proud of myself. I went grocery shopping today and I spent less than $300 because I got the food that I needed. I used to go in with a bunch of ice creams. I used to get a bunch of chips for my son. Not really even for me, but it's like I stopped doing all of that. I used to get a bunch of what they call like honey buns and snacks and stuff. Now I just get one snack, limited to one snack, 2 ice creams, 1 ice cream. Like I limit the stuff. Groceries are expensive enough. I'm not gonna be ODing and getting all this extra stuff that I know I'm not gonna use or eat right away, right? So I'm more careful with my shopping. So I always was like careful with certain things when I was younger too. Like 2 things that my son complains about is he's like, "Ma, you never took me trick-or-treating." I don't believe in trick-or-treating because I ain't gonna lie, when I was a little girl growing up, I thought that was for broke kids who didn't have a father at home or didn't have a father, period. Like, I'm like, if you want candy, just ask your grandparents and they'll take you to whatever store you want. And I'm glad that, you know, or in my son's case, his elementary school always gave him abundance of candy. Like the charter schools, they be going in like with the candy. Like they just be ODing. They give a lot of candy. They let them dress up. They do character day. And they don't do no work. Sometimes they'll do work, but a lot of times they know that's like a mental health day for them. They don't have no work. And even when I was in high school, you did no work that day. It was movie day. It was come out of uniform day. And I didn't get no candy in high school, but I never desired trick-or-treating because I just was like, my father could buy me candy, so why am I gonna go around and ask strangers for candy? Like that's what I wanted to talk about briefly. Like, how you gonna teach your child not to ask strangers? First of all, you teach your children don't talk to strangers, right? I don't teach my son that. I say use discernment because strangers turn into friends, right? Or a stranger could save your life, right? Or a stranger could give you a ride home. What I do tell my son is use your instincts, because that's what I do. I hitchhiked home before. I don't recommend it. But I use my discernment, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day before Uber, for all the kids that's watching, before Uber, right, you had to call a taxi or hail what they call a yellow cab, right? And for whatever reason, cabs never stopped for me. I don't know why. So I used to hitchhike sometimes, and I don't recommend it. And I told my father was like, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Listen, if you stranded and need a ride," he's like, "just call me and I'll call the cab to come pick you up." So that's what he did. So that's what he would do or whatever. But I don't teach my son don't talk to strangers. What I tell him is don't ask strangers for stuff, right? Don't ask anybody for anything. And that's what my parents taught me. Never ask nobody for nothing. Ever. Even in my adult life, nobody could ever say that I borrowed from them or no. Nobody could ever say that. Nobody could ever say that, you know, because that's what I was taught. My father was like, "You want some candy? I'm going to go buy you candy." I said, "Cool." So for me as a child, I never desired trick-or-treating. And my son, he mad because I never took him trick-or-treating. I said, "But what do you need trick-or-treating for when your schools gave you candy? The church gave you candy," because the church, they always gave the kids candy, my father's church. "And then if you want candy, if it's that serious, I'll go buy you candy." Like, what? Oh, I want to go trick-or-treating. Listen, I ain't doing all that walking. Even when I was a little girl, I'm not doing all that walking. Walking. I'm asking people for the same thing over and over again. I just didn't see what's the logic in that? Like, if I'm going to ask one person for candy, I'm going to ask the next person for something else. I'm going to ask them for chicken wings or rice or something, or curry chicken, or what you got in there. Apple pie. Like, I'm not going to want the same thing over and over. Candy. It don't make sense. It never made sense to me. I remember I was 5 or 6, and my church had a piñata for us. If y'all remember millennials, the piñata I gave my son a piñata too when he was his third birthday, but he don't remember. But yeah, I hit that piñata with a bat. All the candy fell out, and I made sure I got my candy. And then I remember they had like an apple contest. I forgot, apple picking. I don't know if they call it, but they put the apples. They say they stopped doing that because it's not sanitary. But it was like a big thing with water, and they had the apples inside, and you had to pick it up with your mouth. I was never good at that. Then they had musical chairs, so that was fun. Like the church was fun, and that's when I was a small kid. And for majority of the part, I didn't really start celebrating Halloween until my 20s, going clubbing, going out with friends, and then I would take my son out. And I took my son to Hershey Park. I took him to the Children's Museum. Like my son can't say his childhood wasn't lit. My son cannot say that. I took him on vacations. I'm still taking him on vacations. We doing an escape room because he said he wanted to do it. I said, okay, cool. And then he's mad because I never because he had 3 costumes his whole life, and it was Batman, he was a king, and then vampire pajamas he had from two years ago. Oh, yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, so I can't believe it was 2 years since I purchased. But yeah, well, yeah. So, and then I remember Christmas time, just looking at the tree and stuff, So the holidays is very, when I think about it, very nostalgic for me. And it's always good to, whatever tradition you have, keep it. Because kids always remember. Kids always remember the little things, So that's what I like. That's what I love. I remember being in high school and, Halloween would come. It was movie day. Once that you saw the TV rolling on the wheels, you knew it was going to be a good day. So I definitely remember that. And it was a fun day. It was always fun, just innocent fun. I remember hotel parties, Halloween parties. I never went to a hotel party, no. But Halloween parties in people's basement, people's living room. It was lit. Never went to no apartment party. I went to one apartment party in Left Rack. But I live in the projects. I've never went to no project party. I have no desire. Do not invite me. Not doing it. Like, that is not safe. I tell you right now, it ain't safe. They doing something illegal in there. Nah. So, yeah. But yeah, just, it's nice and warm outside. It's been chilly here and there, but nothing too crazy. Happy birthday to all my Libras. Y'all had some good ass weather, minus the rain that we had. What was it? Was it in October? Was it? But what I wanted to talk about was my youth pastor from my old church. He actually celebrated his 25th wedding anniversary. And one thing that his father said that stuck to me, and it's true, what makes a successful marriage is you gotta want to be married. And that's the same thing with anything. Being a parent. Like, I never wanted kids, but once I had my son, I can honestly say I enjoy being a parent. I like being a mom. I like having someone to look up to me and depend on me, and I'm able to love him, and I know that he's a responsibility for the rest of my life. It don't stop when he 18. But, always advising him when he starts dating seriously. I'll be that mama to let him know, hey, this is right, this is wrong. Just having someone to constantly be in your life. It's the most beautiful relationship you could have is having kids, or if you have parents. I just think about my parents have their flaws, but our parents do the best that they can. They really do. And I have more positive things about my childhood and more positive than I do negative. And that's what you have to do. You got to look at the positive. Look at the positive things that they did. Look at what they're good for. Like, yes, they did this, but look at the positive things. And that's what I do. That's what I'm grateful for. Yeah, so marriage is something, it's really a verb. It's something that you do. And when they were exchanging their vows, she said how, he does laundry and he don't just say he loves her, he shows it. And that's important, that you show your love to people, whether it be friendship, whatever, but especially in a marriage. And you could tell that they have things in common and they're still attracted to each other. And when they kissed in the end, and his father was like, don't act shy now, y'all got kids. So, but that's important, because in the church we don't really talk about that. But it's important to not just marry someone because, they're Christian, but are you attracted to them? Can you see yourself, being with them for a long time? Do y'all have things in common? I think they both went to the same college, if I'm not mistaken. I know they both have degrees. But that's important to find a common ground. What do you have that's in common? Because let me tell you something. One thing is, my little experience. You have to find a common ground. What brings you two together? And if all you can think of is physical attraction and sex, y'all don't have nothing. And it's so true. You gotta have what binds y'all together beside kids. What binds y'all together beside, one thing that Yandy said about Mendeecees, shout out to Love and Hip Hop, they protested for Breonna Taylor, and YouTube won't let me upload it. YouTube will not let me upload that. And they protested, and she said, see, this is why I love Mendeecees. She said, yes, he's sexy, yes, he's all of that, but he stands for something. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. It's so true. Because I'm a very passionate person when it comes to social injustice and social issues. And I would say about most of the men I've dated, they don't care for it. They don't think it's a problem. They feel like, oh, it's not their issue. Or they, But when you could get a man to protest with you, I remember I protested for Floyd. There was a protest in Manhattan. There was a protest in Brooklyn. And me and my son, we walked. That's the one time I will walk. I will walk for a protest. I'm not going to walk for trick-or-treating, but I will walk for a protest. And we protested, and it was beautiful because my son was able to see at a young age. What was he? He was like 11. Was he 11? Yeah, my son was 11. 11? He was 11. Yeah, my son was 11. Still short and little. And he was able to experience that with his mother. People protesting. He's like, Mommy, wow, so many white people. I said yes because it's not even about color. It's about a man died at another man's hand, and we're all standing together and fighting for justice. And My ex at the time thought I was crazy for protesting. I just knew he not the one anyway, but it's little stuff like that when you realize that you're not equally yoked. So things like, even and when Yandy said it, she was like, this is why, in spite of all his flaws, in spite of all his infidelities, what binds them together is they're both passionate about social injustice. And that's what's important. That's what's important. What binds you together? You know, when stuff hit the fan, what's gonna bind you together? You know, what are you passionate about that you both want the best of? Whether if it's education, whether if it's, you know, you have a lot of people who meet each other on the job and get married because the industry that they meet up at, they're both passionate about where they work at. So that's what kind of brings them together. Or you got a lot of people who meet in church and they get married because what binds them together is their strong beliefs. But then sometimes you could be unequally yoked. You got one person who believes in prayer and the other one doesn't. One believes in the Holy Ghost and the other one doesn't. One believes in Jesus and the other one doesn't. So it's having something to bind you together other than physical attraction, other than looks, other than sex, other than the children, because the children are going to grow up and be grown, and then what do you have? You know, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, marriage is so much deeper than just the exterior. It's what's in here ultimately. You know, just like in a friendship, what keeps you two friends for so long? Or what makes you, you know, I mean, some people are friends for different reasons, but it should be something that binds you together. You know, it should be. And those are my thoughts.